Todd mentioned, what we're going to do is assess the condition of both Jackson Lick and Penn National / Hall Manor, right, Scott? And determine really what their expected lifespan is. And so we were here a couple of weeks ago to do that initial assessment, and are working on the report, kind of identifying areas for the pools. Obviously, they are older pools, right? They're from the 60s. They have been around the block a few times. They have served the community well, and so what we're doing now is we're going to look toward the next 30 to 50 years, and identifying things that that the community wants and needs. And so what we want this study to accomplish is to make sure that it meets the needs of this community, right? And what we're doing with the focus groups tonight is trying to figure out what people want. What does the community want? What type of purposes do they use the existing pools? How do they want that to continue? And then also, how would they like to use a new facility that they can't do with the current facility? So I have a couple of slides real quick, just to detail some aquatic trends and show some renovation examples, and we'll go from there. So obviously the pools that are in Harrisburg here are like the pools that I grew up going to. They're a box, maybe an L shape. They start at 3 feet deep, they go to 10 feet deep. They might have had a high dive that had to get taken out because of liability. They cost 50 cents to $1 to get in, maybe $2 now, but it was really just a pool. You made your own fun, you played Marco Polo, there's not a lot of bells and whistles. It was a place to go get relief from the summer heat. And what we found is that in the late 70s, the water park industry came about, and Wet n Wild in Orlando was built. And obviously, you have water parks up in this region with Hershey Park and Great Wolf Lodge and things like that. And so what we found is that people started going to these water parks, and they said, wow, there's slides, and there's shallow water, and there's moving water, and there's specific designated areas for kids, and there's shade, that we can actually take a break from the pool and sit in shade. And so what then happened is that municipal governments, they started saying, hey, we could do this, just not to the same size and scale, right? And so what we're not talking about here is putting a water park in Harrisburg, right? We're not talking about that, but we are talking about maybe putting some modern aquatic facility trends within the facilities in Harrisburg. And so, whether that's zero depth entries, so kids can ease into the water instead of just having to jump right into 3 to 4 feet. Maybe it's some small slides, maybe it's some floatables. There's a lot of different options out there to look at. And really what we see is that people use an aquatic facility for one of 4 different purposes: either recreation, instruction, competition, or wellness and therapy. And anytime somebody visits a pool, that's pretty much what they're going for, right? They're either going just to have fun, with their friends and family. They're going for the specific purpose of learning how to swim or improving upon their swimming and swim lessons. Or they're there for competition or wellness and therapy. And that can look like a lot of different things. It could be swim team, it could be water polo, it could be on the wellness and therapy side, obviously water aerobic and water fitness classes are really good for ease of exercise on joints and bones. And so really we see that these are the 4 primary purposes that we want to look toward in making sure that the community facilities they have something for everyone, right? So that they meet the needs of these 4 primary user groups, but then also that anybody in the community that it goes can feel like that pool has something for them. And really that's the beauty of water, right? Because it can be a 6-month-old with a mom in a water babies class, or you can be 98 years old and still swimming laps or taking water aerobics. And so it really is, it's a multi-generational activity. So some examples of some things that are out there today. The first is obviously, I mentioned zero depth water, and so this is where really you just ease right into the water. The children's play structures are very popular for the small kids. It gives them something to do. It might have a couple of slides. It might have a tipping bucket that fills and then dumps. It has different sprays and pulleys. a lot of activity, and as you can see, there's a lot of people in these pictures. Spray pad there at the top of the bottom picture. Lots of perimeter shade as well, which is always good to get you out of the sun. Spray grounds are also very popular. Now sometimes a spray ground will completely replace a pool, and we'd not necessarily like to see that because you can't learn how to swim in a spray pad, right? It does provide an outdoor aquatic activity, but it does not give you the ability to teach somebody how to swim. So we prefer these to be, if they're not going to be standalone at a completely new site, that they just be incorporated into a facility. And having taken my kids, I have a 9 and 6-year-old, having taken them to an aquatic center over the weekend, we spent half an hour just at one of these little spray pads in between going to slides and other things. Which brings up water slides. There's a lot of different types of water slides. They can be as small as, say 3 feet high to as tall as, say 30 feet high. They're and even taller than that. But there's really all different types of sizes of water slides. Bigger slides that you see at the bottom, or the smaller ones for little kids in the middle. What we like to see is that there's at least one water slide, if that's what the community wants, that there's at least one water slide for the different age groups. So you have a water slide for the 2 to 4-year-old, you have a water slide for the 4 to 8-year-old, and you have a water slide for the 8 and ups. Once they get 4 feet tall, they can go down the larger slides. And so we like to see different slides for the different age groups within the community. Another item we see incorporated fairly often these days is some type of what we would call moving water. So whether it's a lazy river or a current channel or a vortex, there's a lot of different avenues to explore here, but they're obviously really popular. You can walk the river, you can ride it in a tube. Before the park opens, some of the parks we've designed recently have started doing a river water aerobics class where adults come in and walk against the current of the lazy river. In a water fitness class.
The other benefit of a lazy river, sorry George, to steal your mojo, it offers a lot more pool area, so you could hold smaller swim classes through that. In Chambersburg, that was a big point of discussion, like where each swim class would take place, so they can schedule more classes concurrently using lazy river.
And that's the other good thing, as Todd mentioned, all of these areas typically can double for learn to swim, fitness, as well as fun. So even in this water slide picture, a lot of facilities will hold water aerobic classes, before the facility opens, or swim lessons in the slide catch pool. And so during the day, it's used for recreation, but during the morning time, it's used for instruction and wellness and therapy. Floatables are really popular these days. They're suspended off the bottom of the pool floor, and like this one, it has a cargo net where you hold onto the cargo net and walk across and try not to fall off, and it's good for agility and challenge, and keeps kids well engaged. My 5-year-old literally spent over an hour doing the same crossing activity over and over again a few weeks ago at a pool that I had taken him to, and was just as excited as could be every single time. He was just hoping to get across faster and faster. It's not. Diving boards are obviously very popular. The liability concerns, of the ones I mentioned earlier, was really because of the water depth, and now we've taken care of that issue. The water depths are more than enough, and so there's low and high dive boards. There's also climbing walls that are tilted back over the water that are very popular, and you can rearrange the course so it looks a little bit different every few weeks. But those are also good just to get kids moving and active at the pool. And then obviously we mentioned instruction. We want to have some type of water that would be able to have instruction at both facilities in terms of learn to swim and also teaching the teachers how to teach learn to swim. And there's a host of other programs. Competitive swimming, both pools now have areas for lap lanes, but they're not necessarily used for a competitive swim team. But we would see the minimum if we need competitive water to be the 6-lane 25-yard facility. Compare that to the Olympic-sized pool. You can tell the big difference. So we'd like to hear if there's any competitive needs within the community. And then also I mentioned throughout, wellness and therapy, one of the fastest growing aquatic user groups for water fitness and water aerobics and arthritis classes, and just a host of great ways for people to exercise without the impact of doing it on land. And so, as you can see, this is a 6-lane competition pool that has a lap lane set up, but then it also has the water fitness class in the middle. A lot of times we'll also see this same pool be used for recreation in the afternoon, and it might have a climbing wall and a diving board in the deep part, and then a basketball goal and something else in the shallow part. So again, we want to make sure that the water is multi-use and multi-generational. So I pulled a couple of pictures here of facilities that we've renovated that started like something that you have, like Jackson Lake and Hall Manor, and then ended up looking a lot different or just a little bit different. So the one here on the right, was a longer, L-shaped 50-meter pool. They wanted to keep the lap lanes, but they also wanted to add just one little water slide. Very simple. Mute tones on the slide, so it doesn't really stand out. The other facility in the middle there, they actually went a little bit more extreme, right? They added the zero beach entry with the lazy river. They added the lap pool as well as a large bowl slide. And then the facility on the right, or on the left there, they changed some. They added a specific tot area, which we see are very popular to have the designated area for kids, say 1 year up to 5 years old. The parents really like that because then their kids are away from the rowdier, 6 to 12-year-olds. But then they also kept some stationary water, as you can see back in the background right here. And so these are just some pictures to get you thinking of what could be in terms of the two different pools. And we would like to really hear from you now and figure out a couple of things. The first is, what is your definition of success? As you look back on this process, in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, what would make it a success? Because what we want to be able to do is to deliver, some different options for the city to consider that meet the needs here and that reflect who you are and what you like in a facility. And so the definition of success can really be, there's no wrong answer to that question, and so we'd like to hear that. And then the next two questions are coupled together. What aquatic elements would you like to see, and what aquatic elements do you not want to see? And let's try to figure out what the facilities could look like and for what purposes that you all use them. And then obviously any other information that you would like to add, we'd be more than happy to listen to as we kick off this project, and look forward to seeing where it takes us. But at this time I'd like to just open it up for questions and comments from you all.
You don't have any pictures of our pools now, right? You show us. Do you have pictures of our pools?
Yeah, I had, let's see here on the...
Then this one. Are they Olympic size?
Yeah, technically they could have been at one point, but they're not striped to. They're not striped to be Olympic size, but they're standard for that time era. So they both have, they both do have the, probably close to 50 meters in length, but they're striped for the 25-yard course.
Do you guys have any questions?
Our understanding is there's no competitive use at this point. There's no swim teams. Is there any
It would be
thought
awesome.
about having them
Absolutely.
potentially? Yeah.
My name is Virginia. I work with the Allison Hill Community Ministry. We have a summer program for kids, kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. So all of the facilities that we go to Lake Pool, and certainly that would be something. And the kids that we have our summer program with, and also our after-school program, our kids are inner city kids. And these kids need all of this. But everything that you're showing here, all the 4 elements, they can certainly use that. They have the energy, they have the desire to be competitive, to be swimmers, be somebody. So I think that would be an awesome thing to do for the kids. One other thing that I noticed in the Jackson Lake pool is the locker rooms, particularly for the girls. So they use towels to cover themselves.
Mhm.
So it'd be nice to have a curtain or something.
Yeah, and as dated as the pools are, certainly the bathhouses are of a similar vintage, right? So part of this process, on our end, these guys focus on the pools, we focus on the bathhouses. So we'll speak to what's needed to bring those up to a more contemporary use in terms of privacy changing. Usually lighting is an issue, smell, so we need to work on that. So we are assessing the bathhouses from that end too.
And I think the slides will be an awesome thing for the kids. Oh, yeah. They're very active and they want to do different things.
Mhm.
For example, the other day, apparently there's some classes there, we go out Tuesdays and Thursdays and they have these floaters there. It was stacked, so I let the kids use it and they were crazy with it.
Mhm.
And they're trying to learn how to swim and they'll tell me, Miss Virginia, look, I can swim. And they had the more tools or instructions to
Right.
be able to do that. That would be a wonderful thing for the kids.
There's a comment.
I just wanted to go back. Like, I fully agree with her. Even on the bathrooms and stuff, like it could be a lot more work done. But just once again, I agree with her. That's a great plan. All the 4 elements. That'd be great for both pools.
What do you guys think? You want to slide at the pool? You want to slide?
Basketball court?
Yeah, like in the pool or outside?
Outside and in the pool.
Yeah, like we put basketball hoops in the pool,
Yeah.
so you can play
Yeah,
basketball.
we should get a hot tub. I want a hot
How many of you guys been to Little Buffalo? What are things that you guys like about Little Buffalo?
Everything. Like,
Describe it, if you could.
The pool.
Zero depth. You like the zero depth? How you could just walk in instead of just jumping in? You like jumping in the pool?
So what do you do when you go there?
Go right in the sprinklers.
Oh, you go. He said he goes right in the sprinklers
Yeah,
and go.
sprinklers.
Yeah.
And go in that big thing where we're go like when they shoot at you so hard. And then I just go in the pool.
Slide.
Yeah, they have 2 slides at Little
You
Buffalo.
guys like the slides?
No.
No?
I do. They're boring.
It's only because you can't swim.
That's it. You can't swim. What do you mean? I can swim. Oh, I still wouldn't be able to.
Because that's not being used right now, is it?
They are, yeah, from our, talking with staff, they are used a little bit, but they're also out of, they're not what we consider, a modern children's pool, and also those types of pools are out of compliance with the ADA, accessibility standards for today, and so we would need to, we completely redo those. Now the size of them is not bad, but we need to put a ramp, like a little zero depth entry into those, and then we add some colored elements and probably a shade over the top to protect the
Yeah,
location.
that's the capacity of the thing.
Yeah, it'd probably be actually, we haven't done the specific calculations yet, but it'd actually probably be a little bit more than that just based on the size. Probably 300 to 400, I would say.
Go ahead, in the back.
Yes, my name is Michael Crawford. I work out of the big building. And other than the wellness and fitness, I didn't hear anything mentioned about a particular time slot. Because it's more seasoned people just aren't going to come during the children's time. If there could be a slot where the more seasoned people, I don't want to say old,
Like adult swim kind of?
yeah, adult swim kind of thing, I think that would go over very well.
I know, I think other municipalities manage that as like 45 minutes of free swim and then 15 of adult swim, like every 2 hours or something like that. So,
Yeah. I was speaking of something a little bit more.
or you do like in the morning, right?
Yes.
For an hour, where you can come and swim laps. So, we can look at.
Because right now, there's really nothing for them, so they don't show up. Mostly it is for the kids. I understand. I grew up in the 70s too, and I just recently walked into the big shooting rooms, and it's like a time warp.
Just like you remembered it, right?
Yeah, just like I remembered it too. Also, and there's not very much there. We had slides then. In the 70s, we had slides. We had competitions between the local pools, including Camp Hill Pool, Edgemont Pool, Harrisburg Pool. we all competed against each other, you know, at that time. So I'd like to see more of that stuff, you know, reestablished too.
Yeah.
He had his hand up there.
Okay.
Safety checks should be lesser time. That take half our time up for the pool.
What it does?
Safety checks.
Safety checks.
It should. That's not cool.
Like, I need that, and that's mandatory.
I think the biggest
Safety checks, you could be
level
floating
of
around,
success
nobody will know where you at.
out of everything would be if they're just around, something is around for the kids the next 15, 30 years. Because right now, they're not, you know, they're not gonna be around 15 years from now.
Not in the current state.
I do the maintenance for the pools, and I know, you know, what we got. And it basically just needs a complete overhaul.
Mhm.
If you're gonna start from scratch, you might as well give the kids what they want. And if you can, that's good, but we need to be able to upkeep it properly,
Right.
you know? I mean, systems we got are from the 70s.
Right. Yeah, and there's only so much you can do to keep them moving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've been Band-Aiding, you know, so, but if they're around 30 years, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that'd be the success.
Another thing, I mean, I've been in way worse food, you know what I'm saying? But the same thing about the soothing rooms, you know, the floors could be remodeled, if anything, you know, like heated vents, anything, like anything y'all could do that y'all feel as though would make anybody comfortable after swimming or before swimming, coming in, you know. Don't nobody like swimming and coming out feeling cold or they feet or they stepped on something that they don't
Right.
like, you know.
Right. Yeah, a lot of that's ventilation.
Shades, saw some more
Oh, we
picnic
have-
tables.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have no shade up at Jackson Lake at all. No, there's no shade.
No,
at all.
nothing.
What about,
Pavilion.
I must say, the people, I get quite a few people up at Jackson Lick that with disabilities. They love that pool because there's a ramp. I've had people take wheelchairs down that ramp and get off and get in the water. They love it, yeah.
what about concessions? Is that something anybody
It can
wants
be
to
a-
talk about?
Concession?
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes forever.
Mhm.
Some of the kids, I tell them, you know, if you want to get something, you gotta go at a certain time, because it takes an hour before they, and it's small,
Mhm.
the Jackson Lake.
Mhm. This guy had something that,
My mother thought that the baptism should be on different sides before it goes. Because if a boy's fine, he thinks that he's walking into his bathroom and he walks into the girl's bathroom and he sees a girl naked. And
that's no good.
he'll get in trouble or something.
So maybe add signage, you know, like there should be a sign for the boys and girls' bathrooms. There isn't, but we need that, right? Okay.
It's just saying that.
You know, you're talking about adult swim. The pool used to stay open till 8.
Uh-huh.
And over the years, people have come to me, you know, people getting off work, why doesn't the pool stay open? I get off at 5. I can't go swimming. You know, yeah, they would like an adult time, like Mike says, they would. Yeah, because there is no time available for them.
So what time do they currently close? 6 o'clock?
Mhm.
Is it feasible to keep them open later? I mean, even into the, well, like 9 o'clock?
It's a
Yeah, I'll
staffing
staffing
issue.
issue.
But we put in lights and, you know, like Chambersburg, the pool we're renovating up the road right now, they plan on having lights and staying open till 9:30, and even renting the pool for parties and things.
They used to rent the pool for parties. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Barb, another option is Mondays, the pool's not open. Could that be senior day? I mean, it's open for lessons in the morning, but after that, the pool's closed all day.
I was gonna, at the pool, like if they have the big pool, the big lap pool, and then on the side, like connected, at least other pools I've been to, is a more shallow pool. You just close that pool for like a time period, a larger time period, so then the kids can still swim and the adults at the same time, just
Right.
separately. That would take
But
away
I
some
think
of
the
the.
thing of it is, the adults want their time at the pool.
Right,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I mean, like, it's like basically two separate pools almost. They're connected, but they're separate,
Yeah.
so
Oh, I
the
know.
adults
Yeah, I know
get
what
the
you're
big
saying.
pool
Yeah.
to themselves.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
At a certain time, at, I don't know,
Or
lots
the
of,
lap, or
larger
just-
lots,
or
you make
just
the
the lap
time
lanes,
lots
right?
larger,
Yeah.
What they were saying, I really agree, because you know, there's a lot of adults that don't go no more that used to go that had the pool, you know, at least a little more exciting. So 9:30 don't sound bad to close up a pool at the same time doing lights just as much as Chambersburg. You know, I feel as though if kids, they do like swimming, but they'd probably leave around 6, 7 o'clock. Then you got adults having 2 hours and 30 minutes to
Oh, yeah,
themselves.
he's right.
You know, or
Yeah.
just less
He's right.
kids there. So if y'all close more later and have lights, it'd be great times for the adults.
Go ahead, bud.
We if we live close to the pool, we shouldn't have to pay, like in the community. That's what she said. Come on. That's what she said. That's what you said. Say it again.
Yeah, I grew up kind of when I was little, now I work at them.
Yeah.
You know, it's just time for something to happen.
Yeah, I mean, they can't continue on this way.
So what would be the implementation process? Will you close the pool for a certain period of time?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. So typically, you're probably gonna go a season without pools. And whether we can phase it, so we do one pool one summer and the other pool the second summer, that's possible, that's something we can look into. But typically the construction window is, I'd say 9 to 12 months for a pool project, so that's usually gonna take part of the summer. Now, depending on the scope of work and what we're outlining to do, if we're not building this magnificent, huge facility, we'll look at whether we can close in the fall and reopen, you know, maybe late to mid-summer the following year. There's going to be some downtime, I guess is what I'm driving at, so.
Yeah, we have a couple of facilities that we just designed in St. Charles, Missouri, outside of St. Louis, where our company's based. And they just closed. They closed about 4 or 5 weeks early. They closed just this past weekend, and they were ready to go. The design documents are ready. The contractor is hired. They're ready to bulldoze and start building to get open by Memorial Day for next year. Because that's the thing with a seasonal facility is that you really got to open. You got to hit Memorial Day, and if not, really, if you don't open by July the 4th, you might as well just wait. A whole nother season. So. Typically, we find that the facilities, if we can close maybe August 1st and be ready to go, that they can be open by, the latest July the 1st. That gives us 11 months for the construction crews to do their thing. And like Todd said, depending on the scope of the renovations. But I guess that is another question. You have 2 pools now. Does Harrisburg still need 2 pools? Do they need to be in those same 2 locations?
I would say yes. I think one of the interesting concepts that can be implemented with having 2 pools is not necessarily we can have like different concept at pools. I think as far as like fitness and things, like there's always a concept where you can put in a lap lane to be spread out at both pools. But I guess assessing the needs to say like, would you set up a whole 6-lane competitive pool at both pools? That may not strategically make sense. Maybe that's a concept that can happen at one pool rather than another pool, and then we can the kids that are interested in that competitive swimming aspect of it we can rally up and meet up at that one pool. They can practice and train. But as far as other concepts such as like sprinklers or whether we want to have different the zero depth walk across, I think those can be explored between both pools and overall concept. I think we can overall. There may sometimes between one area to another area, if we don't build them the same, people are going to feel like they lost out. So I think that's important to also make sure that we're getting the community input to make sure that everyone feels included, to feel like, well, one pool got something better than another pool. I think there's standard practice that can happen at both pools, but I think it'd be interesting to kind of explore some different concepts as well.
So what I'm hearing is it's probably better to have the pools have similar amenities from the recreational side, so one doesn't feel like the other got something better.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about a competition component, that could possibly be at only one spot.
I would say, and the crazy thing too, even from just like, logistically moving forward as a city, really, I think neighborhoods have called like ownership to a pool
Absolutely.
when it's really it's the entire city of Harrisburg pool. So maybe that may allow for as we put in different concepts into the pool, that may allow more intermixing, which should happen naturally inside the city. You know, if someone wants to do something at Jackson Lake Pool, they should be able to go to Jackson Lake Pool. If somebody wanted to do something at the Hall Manor Pool, they should be able to go to the Hall Manor Pool. But I think the same basic concepts, both pools should both have slides. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One pool shouldn't have
Right.
a slide, the other person shouldn't have a slide. But I think it'll be fun to kind of mix them where they don't have to be the exact mirror image of each other,
Yeah,
even from a cost savings standpoint as well.
So it's good, it's real good to hear all that, and just looking at the two sites, you can see we have Jackson Lick on the left and Hall Manor on the right, and there's a whole lot more space to add maybe the competition component at Hall Manor, and not necessarily
Yeah,
Jackson.
'cause right now, Jackson Lick is used way heavier than Hall Manor. You know, just because I think it's more centrally located in the city. More people tend to go to Jackson Lick than Hall Manor.
Yeah, we had all the daycares up there too. I don't know, I think, when you watch those kids, the kids have fun with nothing.
Yeah,
Just in there bouncing around. The baby pool, yeah, definitely something, definitely. But add a slide, take a diving board away and add a slide. Those kids would be happy as anything with something as simple as that. Yeah.
or some basketball hoops too.
Yes,
For
yeah,
example,
they
or
would be
volleyball net,
thrilled.
you know what I mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think the key there is providing enough diverse activities so that when they get bored with shooting hoops, they can move on to the slide, or, you know what I mean? Just, you gotta keep them entertained, or they lose interest pretty quick.
I think
And back to what he was saying, like, if y'all was to add it, like, court to the baby pool there, or like even to the adult pool, why not out there anyway? You know what I'm saying is, if we're going 30 to 50 years, why not do both of them, And not only keep the generation more spirited, but, moving forward, it'll keep things more positive for everybody. Everybody at least enjoys something. If somebody don't like the slide, they'll like sprinkler. So if they don't like that, they'll like the basketball, one thing.
So, what was it you said about the baby pool?
they're just so heavily relied on what's going on with the big pools at this point that, I mean, they're functional. They,
Would it make sense in your mind to maybe eliminate the top pool and put in a spray pad in its place?
yeah.
The benefit of a top pool is, the spray pad is, you don't need a full-time lifeguard.
Yeah.
Or you don't need a trained lifeguard to watch that. You can just have somebody supervising it.
I've seen pools where you just the ease-in pools,
Right.
and the tots use that area.
Yeah, we could do that.
And it starts out like a splash pad,
Sure.
and then kind of ease into the pool.
The other thing we've done in Chambersburg is we added a spray pad at the pool site, and that spray pad's open in the shoulder season. So it opens before Memorial Day for a few weeks, and then after the pool closes, it'll stay open for a few weeks, because you get some hot days in September that you can still use. We still want to do something aquatic, so that could be an option for Jackson Lake too. That spray pad's there, it could stay open longer, and it's probably more cost effective to build a spray pad than it is a separate top pool, but you could still have a zero depth entry, so there's real shallow water for little kids that want that.
Okay, let's move to the locker rooms,
Go ahead.
please.
Yep.
What are you gonna do with them?
We're still evaluating that. We've done a survey, we see what you have. We think there's a lot of room for improvement. Typically, in these projects, we'll renovate or replace the pools, and we'll renovate the bathhouses. So
They're sound buildings, they
yeah,
really are.
they're usually very
sound
well built. They're
buildings,
built
yeah.
out of concrete blocks. Just they need a hug, right? They need
Oh, yeah.
new finishes.
And they need some
They
artwork
need
around
nice
it, yeah.
flooring. They need to be improved ventilation-wise. They usually stink. They're usually pretty dim, so we'll take a real good look at those. Yeah, right. And the ventilation helps with that.
Yeah,
But we're not talking about air conditioning
no,
or anything.
no, just an overhaul.
Real over the
Just
top.
a
Yeah.
hug's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, you give them a hug.
Yeah, because they're really, I often thought, if a really bad storm comes along up there, and I got people up there at that pool, I'm gonna shove them in that locker room, because it's a strong building.
Yeah. Yeah, the roof will probably come off.
But you know what? They're gonna be inside someplace, yeah.
Right. This guy's got something to add.
Remember, really important.
I forgot.
You remember, let me know, I'll give them.
Yeah, there you go. What else? Anybody seen anything out there at a pool that they think they've got to have in Harrisburg?
I think they'd be happy with whatever they saw coming in.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really do.
Okay, even just having a pool for the
Just
next.
having, they love their pools,
20,
they
30
do, they
years.
love their pools, and I think if they just saw that people cared enough to wanna do something and add something new, I think they'd be happy as anything.
The instructions, the
Yeah.
competition.
And I think, yeah, I think we ought to push the swim thing, because I think you get a lot of kids interested that never thought they would be interested.
Mhm. Okay,
Yeah.
Landscaping.
You remember that?
go ahead.
I thought that there should be 2 pools because when little kids go to the pool and there's not no baby pool and they need floors to jump in and they think it's not deep and they jump in and they start drowning and say the lifeguard's not looking, they got
Yeah, that's a problem.
And I think there should be a little pool and a grown-up pool.
Mhm.
But
They gotta
not,
take swim lessons too, right? So they know how to swim.
not every kid will take.
Go ahead.
We should put more those things that's in the pool, like we step on them and the water come up.
Oh, you mean like the jets that come out of the
The
deck?
jets.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are, typically we integrate those in like the spray pads, or in the zero depth entry. It's basically just a jet that comes out, and they can be periodic, so they're on timers, so
Oh,
they
they love
go.
that, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
see, that's the thing, everything, I mean, you guys have seen everything at the pool, so,
Mhm.
you know, everything's manual or done.
Right,
You know, there's
Right.
no
Right.
automated
No,
anything
yeah.
except for the pumps we use,
Mhm.
so.
okay. Make them a little more exciting, I think, is.
One more thing I would like to add, you know, inside the pool, you know, the paint, there's some of the floor that's, you know, scraped. You know, some people that love swimming, but at the same time, there's some very picky people that would not like to see stuff like that, especially when they're swimming, having a good time.
You're
So I
talking
think
about
if you would,
the bottom of the pool.
yeah, right,
Yeah.
like paint, you know, re-scraping, do everything you have to do to make sure, you know, it's unique looking.
Yeah.
I think they really enjoy themselves.
So to be clear, you know, I mean, we haven't completed the assessment, but it's not uncommon for pools of this age to be beyond their useful life and to need replacement or very significant renovations, right? Is that?
Yeah, we would
Fair
see
assessment.
that there's very little that is salvageable from the existing pools just because of their age, the cracks in the concrete, the underground piping, you know, the turnover rates, the chemical automation. You know, pretty much it was a pool built, and that's how pools were built in the 60s, and it served its 50 plus years of useful life, and it's time to start over.
Yeah.
I mean, the most cost-effective way is probably to build a new similar pool in the same footprint. But, you know, the problem with that approach is we're building another 1960s pool, right, in 2017. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense financially. It's not going to get the city the new trends and exciting features, you know what I mean? So we will put together a couple of options to discuss and review with the pool committee, and then we'll bring them back for another public meeting to let you see those and comment and see how we've done.
I think there should be family lockers, because a lot of people, when they go to the pool and there's no lockers for them to put their sandals and stuff in, they get stolen.
Yeah,
And my friend, we went to Kalahari, and they didn't have no lockers for us to put the shoes in, so he got his slides and his towel took.
oh
They
really?
stole it, and they act like they didn't steal it. That's why I asked if they had lockers, but they never did.
Are there lockers in the locker rooms right now?
No.
It's just wide open, okay. So it'd have to be like a bring your own locker kind of scenario,
And the changing for the, at least for the girls, I know it.
yeah.
They use the towels to cover themselves up.
Mhm.
Even they're with girls, they still
Sure,
privacy.
yeah,
whatever.
right.
I want to give a shout out to Parks and Recreation for trying to do this for the community. You guys are awesome, and you let the mayor know that as well, because that's really, really great for these kids. They need that, and so we appreciate what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a real positive note to end on.
You know, the consensus of people is, they
Yes.
want the pools.
Yeah.
She has some.
I participate in the Aqua Zumba.
Uh-huh.
This is my 4th summer doing it. So that's like a big part. I know a lot of older, when you talk about the, what's the word did you use? Seasoned? Seasoned. It's a lot of seasoned people that come to the Aqua Zumba at the Jackson Lake Pool. And a lot of them wouldn't come if the pool wasn't closed. I know I might agree with them that the pool should be open longer. But the benefit of it for the Aqua Zumba is that when the pool does close on those Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have the pool to ourselves. So we get to do an Aqua Zumba, and then we get swim lessons afterwards. So that's a benefit. Now, I wear water shoes in Jackson Lake because it is really bad.
The bottom.
It's really bad. So my question is, I don't know if it's an option. I know when I go to the resorts, those pools floor are soft
Well, that's what
and warm
That was
and
the
heated.
intent.
So would that be?
is to replace the pool shell itself. Whether it's heated, there's some financial decisions to be made. Usually, a heater is not an inexpensive item to put in or run. So,
Cause like some
We'll have
days you
to
go
look at
outside,
that.
it might be 70 degrees and it's July, like, what was it,
Sure.
Saturday? Was it Saturday? It was not warm enough for the pool.
yeah.
Let's just say. But if the
Right.
pool was warm, then you could still, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Another thing we were discussing is maybe like a water park look,
Mhm.
almost. Like the umbrellas that come down.
Sure.
I think, what they have, that little buffalo? They got the umbrellas, the little
Mhm.
kids, little area. There's gonna be more things for family oriented, because when I talk to a lot of people, they don't go to the pool because they say the other kids are running around pushing the kids, and so they don't go there because of that. But if there's something where the families could be with the younger children, or the younger children can be at, then it'd
Right.
be able to attract more, and maybe.
Here's another question. What about non-aquatic activities that could be added to these sites?
Yeah, I was just
When
thinking
you said like
that.
bringing a family, maybe there's a dry playground that's associated with pools also, or basketball courts.
That would be nice.
Pavilions, so picnic pavilions. Chambersburg built, I'd say 5 or 6 picnic pads, so a family could come and rent a picnic pad for the day or a couple hours and have a party there for one of their kids.
I think the basketball court would be a great thing. I know that Jackson Lick has a basketball court, but you have to go all the way to
No, that belongs to the school.
the school. Okay,
Yeah.
so.
How well attended is the Aqua Zumba class? And
Well, from what we were just told, we have a lot more in our class than there is on a daily basis at the pool. We have about somewhere between 25 and 30 that come. We're there 2 days a week.
So you think that there's room to expand the fitness, aquatic fitness
Yeah,
programs?
definitely, because that's just Aqua Zumba, but there's other things. Not everyone does Zumba
Sure.
in the pool, but there's, like even for the
Aerobics.
seniors, like I have my membership to the Y, and the seniors are usually there in the morning. They have the senior aquatics. They have things, a lot of arthritis. They have different classes to work with people with arthritis. So, and those with those link towers and all
I was gonna
those,
say,
that would
yeah,
be
the
perfect.
apartments right there. They have those 2 apartments, one Mike works.
And kind of promote and work with housing
attract
to
them.
promote it, and just, it's just marketing, like do different things and it'll
Right.
bring more people in.
Right. Okay. Anything else, George?
Oh, yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't get me wrong, back on the financial problem, I know it's not too much money in the world to do too much, but at the same time, if you could take some of these ideas and at least combine them to come up with something, that'd be a great result.
Yeah, like I said, the next step is for us to put together some schematic options. There'll be a financial analysis with that as to what it would cost the city to implement. Typically pools never pay for themselves, with their revenue, but the goal is to maybe have something that can sustain itself for the next 15, 20, 30 years. So we have a couple more minutes if there's anything else to add.
Do you have an email or something they can follow if someone was here and they wanted to
Sure.
come up with an idea or tell the neighbors?
Sure, yeah, so
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say probably best to get in touch with Parks and Rec. We can also put together a survey that the city can share
That'd be really good.
online.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
And if you could write that in Spanish,
okay.
please. Because I told a lot of people, they don't speak English,
Uh-huh.
so, and I could definitely get it out to them.
Okay. Very good, we'll do that. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for your time.